Hello, everyone. Good morning. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. And thank you for being on the call. There was some little technical glitch on my side, so I have to join little late as it was raining heavily my side. But nevertheless, thank you very much for waiting on the call and apologies for making you guys wait. Um, okay, so let me also share my screen. Starting my screen share. I hope it's coming up on your side.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so welcome to our day zero demonstration class where I will be helping you understand what do we have in this particular course for you and how are we structuring the course to make the participants become proficient in API automation testing using Postman tool. And let me also give a quick overview about my profile. So my name is Kiran and I have close to 15 years experience in the software industry. And I have been working extensively on the automation side, especially on the front end automation, back end automation, performance test automation, and security test automation using multiple set of tools. So the tools that I have hands on and have done a lot of corporate trainings for you guys includes tools like Postman, SOAP UI, Ready API, Catalan Studio. Then when it comes to performance testing, I have done with tools like Gatling and performance, Jmeter. And when it comes to security automation, I have done with tools like Burp Suite, Z-Attack Proxy, Sneak, Network Mapper, and few more tools. Then on the UI automation, I have done with tools like Selenium as usual, Catalan Studio. Then on the accessibility testing as well, I have done so many corporate engagements with multiple set of tools. Again, there are numerous tools on accessibility testing. And coming to the current discussion, right, the API automation testing using Postman tool, this is a common course that we do almost once every 45 days. And we have got some very good feedback about the way the course is being delivered and the way the content is structured. And with every feedback that we receive, we have been changing the content to suit the latest requirements as per the industry, right? So I do this almost once in 2 months to ensure that the course content is pretty much high from a delivery perspective so that it helps the participants understand their and meet their project expectations. Okay. So this is the website where our course curriculum is available. I'll also give the link of this to you on the chat window. And some common questions that most of the people is, uh, 1 minute. So this is where the course curriculum is available. I'm just giving it on the chat for your reference. And the course obviously starts from today, today being a introduction class and a quick demonstration of the table of content that we have in the course. So this is day zero. And the class timings will always be the same, morning 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Indian Standard Timings. And the courses are from Monday to Friday, weekend no classes. And the course duration is, I would say, around 1 month, which is like 30 days, right? And the training material will be shared with you, whatever and whatever live classes we are doing, all of them are getting recorded. And the access to these recordings also will be shared with you. And coming to the course curriculum, right, in API automation testing, you can also go through this website to understand my first two classes of the previous batch. In case if you are missing out the first two classes here, you can always go through them. And the timings are mentioned here as per different time zones that you are present in. And the feedback that we have got from the previous batches, it's clearly mentioned over here. Yeah. And the key takeaways, right? By the end of this course or during the learning of this course, what is that you are going to be equipped with from a knowledge perspective is also pretty much clear. So I'll quickly help you understand what is that you are going to learn by the end of this course. You are going to be mastering the API technologies such as SOAP APIs, REST APIs, GraphQL APIs from a testing perspective. You will be in a comfortable and confident position in writing automation scripts for the backend RESTful APIs or SOAP APIs using Postman tool. You will also learn how to use the inbuilt artificial intelligence feature that Postman is giving, using which you can write the scripts on the fly without even having to learn the programming languages. And then I will be sharing with you the detailed API test cases, API test plan, so that you can reuse it for your projects or for your interview purpose. You'll be able to generate fantastic test reports in HTML format, CLI format, JSON format, or XML format. And also, you'll be able to integrate your API automations with tools like Jenkins as well. So that's the high level key takeaways for this course. And there is also a course completion certificate that you guys are going to receive from the institute as well, which is valid for lifetime. Okay. And the access to the recorded videos also will be made available. And coming to the prerequisites of who can enroll in this course, I would say almost every aspiring engineer in software is eligible and to enroll in this course. And there is no prerequisite as such. That maybe the basic prerequisite could be if you're coming from manual testing background, that would be definitely helpful to you in this course. You don't have to come with Java language as prerequisite, or there is no need for you to learn JavaScript and then come to this course. It's not at all mandatory. Manual testing is enough as a prerequisite. Now, let me quickly go through the course syllabus which we are teaching so that you understand, okay, is this what I'm here to learn, or you have something else? Okay. And the tool I'm using in this course is Postman tool. It's clearly mentioned on the course curriculum as well, and also on the topic name. So before I quickly walk through the chapters, I would like to hear if you guys have any general questions that I have to answer now. You can use the chat, you can unmute if there are questions to me.
So anybody with a non-technical background can also take this course, is that correct? And would have an understanding later?
That's right, Radhika.
Okay.
Because I have structured the course in such a way that even if you are coming from a different domain or a background, the first two chapters will help you become on par with other professionals who are already in that domain. So though I have written certain prerequisites, I have ensured that they are again covered in chapter 1 and chapter 2.
I have a question. So, are you going to take over Java in this course if, like non-technical people can also take it?
Okay, so point one is we don't need Java in this course. Hence, Java is not being explained at all because Postman does not use Java. It uses JavaScript, and JavaScript is already part of the Postman tool. And because of the new artificial intelligence feature, we don't even have to learn that. It's about giving a prompt and getting the script done easily, right? And I'm sure most of you have already heard 100 times that the entire automation industry is slowly moving towards codeless automation, which means Anu should not be writing the code, but Anu can use the tool and the tool should write the code. So Postman is such a tool that has already made one step forward to become code less automation. Hence, you don't have to come with Java. Hence, I am not teaching Java at all, first of all, in Postman, because Postman does not use Java. It uses JavaScript, which is different from Java.
So, Kiran, so we don't have to learn JavaScript also to use this tool?
Yes. You don't have to learn JavaScript because the tool is giving you options directly how to write the code. So,
Okay.
and when the code when the code comes, it's hardly 3 lines of code for each functional check. And the 3 lines of code is pretty much understandable in English language because JavaScript that Postman uses is English friendly. So 110% everyone will easily understand, okay, this is what the code is doing. And once you get habituated, you become it becomes easy for you to memorize even that functional check that we are writing in JavaScript. Again, I don't write it manually. I can write it because I have been using the tool from close to 15 years. But for all beginners, you don't have to write it because the tool gives you an option for this check, use this. For this check, use this. If you just click on that, use this, the code will come automatically. And we just customize it with some English language, which is easy for you guys as well. And you'll understand the beauty of it once we get into that level of discussion in chapter 4 and 5. So simple answer, yes, you don't have to come with JavaScript learning.
Yeah, thanks, Kiran.
Okay, fine. Let me quickly go to these chapters as well. And again, at any point of time you have questions, you can interrupt me and ask me your questions. So in chapter 1, we are going to talk about the 3-tier architecture model, introduction to the client and server model, and also helping you understand what are APIs, what are the formats in which the data gets exchanged between two modules and API is used. We'll talk about the HTTP methods. We'll talk about response codes. We'll talk about client-side errors, server-side errors, success responses. We'll talk about methods such as get, post, put, patch, delete. We'll talk about the different protocols, HTTP, HTTPS. Then we'll talk about how does the request look like, how does the response come from server when you are testing the APIs in the upcoming chapters, right? Then in the same chapter, we'll also talk about the 3-layer architecture, something like, the front end system, the back end system, and the server side system, because APIs are involved from front end to back end and back end to server. So without knowing the architecture, APIs will be difficult for you to memorize, or APIs will be difficult for you to follow up. So that basics I'm teaching in chapter 1. Coming to chapter 2, we are going a little deeper now, where I will talk about the different technologies that are present in APIs. How are the APIs evolved over a period of time from the last 15 years? Then what are the different classifications that we have within APIs? We'll talk about the syntax of an API. We'll talk about some public examples available in APIs. Right. So example I have written here, these are the technologies of APIs available. Like you have remote procedure calls, you have GraphQL APIs, you have SOAP APIs, you have REST APIs. Then again, when it comes to classification, you have like public APIs, then private APIs, or secured APIs and unsecured APIs. Right. So I'll help you understand all these things very clearly before we touch base practicals. Then we'll talk about the differences between all the types of APIs. Then we'll talk about writing the syntax of an API. So how does an API look like when you get it from the developer, so that you know how to understand it first before you do testing. Then I'll take you onto the public internet and show you some examples of APIs available for our practice. Right, there are hundreds of websites available. So I'll take a few public APIs which are authorized for our testing process. And I will also give access to you guys so that you can also test it on your computers. If you want a different example, which I have not taught, even that also will help you with, and you can try it at your home on your Postman tool. And for any questions, you can always ask me. So chapter 2 makes you comfortable until the point of learning APIs syntax. Chapter 3 is where we will talk about different testing techniques that are necessary in API automation testing. Ideally, if you're coming from manual testing background, we often say, okay, I do smoke testing, I do ad hoc testing, system testing, end-to-end testing, regression testing, retesting, exploratory testing, etc. Right? But in API automation testing, we have a few more uh, testing techniques specific to APIs. And those specific testing techniques, I'm going to help you understand. You see, there are so many testing techniques we are going to learn. I have classified them as positive and also negative testing. So these are the different testing techniques we are going to learn practically, okay, not theoretically. Theoretically, I will explain, and practically we will do it from chapter 4. So I'm going to explain you how to achieve response code testing, response body testing, response time testing, response headers testing, then interoperability testing, then assertions testing using JavaScripts, then data-driven automation testing using the functions in Postman or using CSV and JSON files. Then we will do it with, then we'll also see performance testing of APIs using Postman tool. We'll also do continuous testing of APIs by scheduling certain cron jobs so that the APIs are executed at the predefined scheduled intervals of time. We'll talk about API chaining automation testing. We'll talk about another tool called Newman, where I'm going to help you understand how to run it from non-GUI mode. Then few negative testing techniques like unsupported HTTP methods, broken endpoints, and payload tampering testing. So these are the different testing techniques you will understand in chapter 3. I will also share with you one test plan that's exclusively designed and developed for APIs, which we will follow throughout the course. I will also share with you the already written test cases for APIs, which we will follow throughout the course while testing the APIs. So these two documents will be shared with you in chapter 3. So until chapter 3, it's all theory and our foundation is made. So the first 3 chapters will take probably 6 classes. Then chapter 4. From here onwards, until we go to the last chapter, everything is practicals. Hence, I have written hands-on exercise. Okay, so chapter 4 is where we will go ahead and download the Postman tool. Or if you cannot download on your computer, we have online version of Postman, which you can access on the browser itself. So we'll see how to understand the Postman tool. We'll have a quick walkthrough of the interface of the Postman tool. We'll log in, we'll create an account. Then we will see how we can access Postman on the browser as well. So chapter 4 is little practical. Then coming to chapter 5, this is where I'll explain the Postman hierarchy, which means when you start working on an automation project, right, what are the first few things you have to do before you start the automation? Something like, you have to set up a workspace. You have to create a project. You have to create a collection. You have to create folder structures. You have to create the request. You should be ready with your CSV test data file. So that hierarchy I will explain so that we go step by step. And when we are building the framework in Postman, it becomes easy for you because I've told you the hierarchy in advance. So once I take in the actual APIs in the next chapter, which is chapter 6, hierarchy will help you. Here I will also talk practically on the Postman workspaces. So a Postman workspace is a project repository where your entire framework is present, where your entire automation lifecycle happens. So I'll explain the different workspaces Postman is offering. How do we create a workspace? How do we delete a workspace? How do I convert a workspace from one type to another type? How do I invite people to join my workspace? So all these things, including the collaboration that you can do between Postman workspaces, will be explained in chapter 5. So chapter 5 makes you comfortable about the tool called Postman. So the moment you see it at the beginning of chapter 5, the moment you see the tool, it has so many features and we get little confused. By the end of chapter 5, you will see, okay, I have seen so many features, but I know what these features are meant for. So you'll get that comfortable understanding in chapter 5. I'll take a pause here. Any questions until chapter 5 from chapter 1? If you have any questions, please ask me. Okay, again, I'll assume there are no questions. Moving to chapter 6, which is also hands-on exercise, as you can see. This is where we are going to test REST APIs and SOAP APIs using manual testing process in Postman and also automation testing process in Postman tool. So for that, I'm teaching you first the different documentation formats in which APIs are represented. Each developer has a different format in which they can represent APIs. So few developers use a Swagger format. So I'll talk about that. Few developers use curl format. Few use WSDL. Few use JSON, YAML, HTML, HAR. So I'll give an introduction about all these formats and how you have to understand. Okay. Then for the first project, I will take a curl format, which is pretty famous in the industry. Most of the developers go for Swagger or curl and also WSDL. So I'll be teaching all these three practically in 3 different projects. So here I will teach you the world of collections. How do we create a collection? How do you rename it? How do you delete it? And why are we creating a collection? All these things will be told here. How to run a collection also I'll tell you. Then we'll set up our project inside the collection, and slowly our framework building will happen in the Postman workspace using positive test cases, which is otherwise smoke, then negative test cases, which is called as regression. Okay. So I will take this curl format project of REST APIs, where I will take one get API, one post, one patch, and one delete, and we will test them in the Postman tool manually and also through automation. Okay. Then I will also take another project. I mean, though I'm saying it in just quickly few seconds, each point takes a lot of time, right? Chapter 6 is so huge that it will take minimum, I would say 8 classes or 9 classes to complete chapter 6. After this curl project is completed, which is a REST API project, then I will take one more project where the documentation is present in Swagger format, and will quickly do the automation and manual testing of APIs using Postman. So the Postman can be used for manual testing of APIs and also automation testing of APIs. I'll be teaching both. Okay, I'll be covering both as I do that. Then chapter 3 is SOAP APIs. So I will take a chapter 3 called, type 3 called SOAP APIs, where the Swagger documentation is present in WSDL format, right? I'll just tell you how these formats look like. This is one format. Then I have, this is another format. Yeah. So this is my first project. So this is how our APIs look like. See, curl format. This is one API. This is second API. This is third API. This is fourth API. So this is my first project. How do we test these APIs from automation perspective? Then this is my second project. And you can see here the APIs are available. You see all the color codes, put, post, get. So how do we test all these APIs using Postman? That's my Swagger project. I mean, I'm giving an example. The project might change, but that's how they look like. Then this is another one, which is, okay, why is this not coming? Yeah, so this is one project, which is our SOAP API project. And the API structure looks like this. Yeah, so this is how your APIs look like. And this is the response. And this is another API request. And this is the response. So I'm going to explain you SOAP APIs using this project. Let me close these things. So so what are we doing in these 3 projects, right? So definitely first project, we'll go and automate all our testing techniques. So where I'm going to automate the response code, response description, response body, response time, response headers, response fields, and response size. Then how do you import your project to one and give it to developer? Or how do you deploy this on any other computer? So that importing and exporting also will be explained. How do you invite people to your workspaces? How do you share your work with your developer or manager or your co-tester? How do you run the entire collection, which is your project, and generate a test report? How can you see your previous historical executions? Meaning last week I executed. Can I see that report even today from Postman tool? The answer is yes. Right? So all these things will be told for each of the projects in chapter 6. Any questions, guys, on chapter 6? If I'm clear, give me a thumbs up. If you have a question, you can unmute and ask me the question either on the chat or on the voice. Okay. Thank you, Radhika and Sangamesh. Okay, let's go to chapter 7 then. So chapter 7 is continuation of chapter 6 with more automation focus. So in chapter 7, I will teach you data-driven automation testing for Postman APIs, which means I will tell you or you will learn how to execute the same API with the different values of test data, which is essentially called as data-driven automation testing, something which is earlier it was a choice, right? Probably 10 years back it was a choice, but today data-driven testing is a part of your normal testing, and that's one of the framework available. So I'm going to help you understand data-driven automation testing in two ways. One, I will use the Postman functions to generate dynamic data. Two, I will supply the test data from CSV files, comma separated value files. We can also supply from JSON files, but I think we'll stick to CSV. That's easy for us. Then I will show you how to conduct interoperability testing on APIs. Now, interoperability testing is nothing but testing whether your APIs are compatible on different browsers, different operating systems, different mobile devices. So how do you automate that process by using one of the request header called user agent is what I'm going to teach in this topic. Then we'll do automation testing, which is nothing but from a performance perspective. So we'll do performance testing of APIs using Postman tool. Postman has recently released that functionality, like it's been 1 year now, I guess. So we'll use that feature to do performance testing of your APIs. So here we'll talk a little bit about performance testing as well. Then we'll talk about scheduled testing of APIs, which means I want this automation to execute every day in the morning at 9 o'clock and send a report to my project team. Postman can do that for you. So even if you are busy at 9 o'clock, Postman only will test your automation APIs and it will send reports, meaning you are not testing it. The tool is testing it automatically after your framework is developed. So that also we can do. That also I'll show you. Then we are going to learn different type of assertions. Assertions are typically your functional checks. So these are the different functional checks that we are going to do. Like you are going to automate the process of testing response code, response time, response body, response headers, then JSON value checks, enum value checks. We'll write some conditional statements. How can we skip certain tester scripts when they don't want to be executed? How do we introduce a delay during execution process? We're going to talk about data type checks. We're going to print all the response attributes, request attributes, and then a few more array related assertions, etc. So all these assertions will be explained in each of the projects practically. Okay, all these are practically done with your projects 1, projects 2, and projects 3. Then more importantly, we'll do one automation testing called API chaining. That's one of the interview question, and that's something we do in every project. So API chaining is the process of ensuring the response of one API is extracted into a variable and supplied as request to the next API. So when two APIs are dependent and they have to exchange their response and request, we use this API chaining automation, where I will write a little bit of JavaScript, which is like 3 lines of code. First, I'll explain in an algorithmic fashion. I will write in English language, then I will write it in JavaScript, and I'm sure 100% you'll understand it. Because before I write, there are so many theoretical things and practical things we are covering in the previous classes. Okay, and we'll also see how to do end-to-end automation using Postman JavaScript for all the 3 projects I have spoken about. And there is another tool called Postman Interceptor, using which I can, we can capture the API calls from a front-end application. Right? Something like, what if your developer says, I don't have any documentation for APIs, but this is the web application we have developed. So can you find the APIs on your own and test it? Then you will be, difficult for you guys to do that. So to solve that problem, I have this tool called Interceptor. Using Interceptor, I can find the APIs directly on the web application from the browser and put them in Postman tool and develop my automation test scripts. So that also we are covering in chapter 7. Coming to chapter 8, this is I would say a realistic chapter that will help you in your daily projects, irrespective of the company you are working in, because every company has a different standard in which they do documentation. So few people, they use only WSDL files. Few people use collections concept, meaning developers. Few developers use Swagger. Few developers use YAML. Few developers use JSON. Few developers says our documentation is an open API. Few developers says we don't have anything, you have to see the web application and do it. Few developers says I have a HAR file, can you do testing? Right? Few developers says I have the API collections in GitHub repository, so can you do that? Few developers says I have a local JSON file, can you do that? And few developers says I have a curl, can you do API automation? So not every developer comes with what you have learned, right? Mostly people say, hey, what we learn in course is different, what we do in projects is different, right? That's a common thing every person goes through. Even I have gone through that. So chapter 8 is an answer to break that statement. So in chapter 8, you are going to understand what if my developer gives documentation in a particular format. I'm going to cover that here. So like that, I have taken so many formats. You see, if I count, I think there are nearly 10 formats. So 10 different formats in 10 different projects or 10 different developers or 10 different organizations. Chapter 8 is the answer. Once you complete chapter 8, I'm sure 90% of the times you will have the confidence to work with any developer who writes the documentation in any format. Okay. I'll take a pause here. Any questions from the team until this chapter? If it's clear, again, as usual, give me a thumbs up. If there are questions, you can chat or you can unmute. Okay, thank you, Radhika, Sujana, Sohail, Priyanka, Sangamesh, and others. Okay, chapter 9, Postman code generator. So this is mostly helpful in your debugging process. So when we test our APIs from an automation perspective, you often find a lot of bugs, right? You find defects or bugs in your automation testing process, and the developer has to fix it. So developer says, can you generate a curl command, curl, curl command, and give it to me so I will know what is that you are doing it. But testers are not good at curl commands because that's a programming language used by developers. So how do you convert your API into a curl command so the developer can easily understand and give you a quick solution? That's what chapter 9 talks about. So here I will help you understand how to decipher, how to comprehend a curl command, how to convert APIs to curl, how to convert curl to APIs, because that will be your daily job in the projects, right? Because I have experience with multiple developers in multiple locations, right? So I have learned the trick of how to do that. And probably, your developers also might ask in similar fashion. So you should also be technically good for them. So chapter 9 is answer for that. Chapter 10 introduces the concept of variables in Postman. See, in every programming language, we have variables, right? So variables are those containers that contains certain values, like integer a equals to 5, string name equals to Kiran, right? So Postman is no exception. Even in Postman, we have a lot of variables. So we'll talk about what are those variables, when do we use these variables, how do we create the variables using JavaScripts or without using JavaScripts. Meaning programmatically you can clear it on runtime, and without programmatically you can directly use the editor and create the variables. So we are going to talk about these different variables: data variables, which is used in data-driven testing; collection variables, which are specific to one collection; global variables, which are common for all the collections; environment variables, which can be used to test all the collections against QA environment, dev environment, or UAT or production environment; dynamic variables are those variables whose value changes every time you execute it. So how do we create those variables? Using CSV files I can create. There is a step-by-step wizard we have using which you can create, or you can directly create manually in the tool, or you can write a JavaScript to create these variables. So we are going to learn all these processes in this particular chapter. Then we have chapter 11. So in chapter 11, I'm introducing a new tool called Newman tool. So Newman tool is a command line interface developed by Postman to execute your automation scripts. Instead of Postman, you can execute it from the command prompt, and you can generate nice HTML test reports or XML test reports or a JSON or a CLI test report. And Newman also helps to integrate your automation with other tools, other CI/CD tools like Jenkins. I will also talk about how to integrate with Jenkins once Newman tool is explained. So in Newman tool, these are the different test reports I'm going to explain. And in chapter 12, we are going to see how to approach your troubleshooting process in Postman tool, how to debug your failure scripts, what are the different settings we have in Postman tool that can help you to customize your experiences in Postman tool, right? So there are so many things I have written here, but these are all related to the settings that we have in the Postman tool. Then chapter 13, we have the final chapter, Postman integration with other tools. So I'm going to explain you how to integrate Postman with artificial intelligence feature called PostBot, which is developed using ChatGPT. Then for that integration, I'm going to show you. Then I'm going to integrate Postman with CI/CD tools like Jenkins. I'm going to integrate Postman APIs with GitHub repository so that you can take a backup of your automation in GitHub, and you can also import from GitHub. So these are the three tools I'm going to integrate Postman and show it to you, because that is the common expectation in the industry when you give interviews or when you're working on a project. So I'm teaching you a CI/CD tool integration. I'm teaching you a version control management tool integration, and I'm teaching the latest topic, artificial intelligence or AI, called PostBot integration in this particular course. So that's all. By the end of chapter 13, we will be having 90% plus confidence on API automation testing using Postman, and you will be interview ready, you will be job ready, you will be project ready as well. Because like I said, only the first 3 chapters are theory that gives you solid foundation. Chapter 4 onwards, everything is practical, 100% practicals, and you will be given access to the project work, you'll be given access to the scripts, you'll be given access to the detailed notes that I have prepared. So let me quickly show you the notes that you are going to get from me and how does that notes looks like, right? And guys, if you have any questions also, please ask me. So here you see I have the API testing Postman folder. So you will get you will get access to the common interview questions and the answers that we have. So this is subject to questions and answers. You have the responsibilities that you have to follow when you are writing in your resume. So I have written some responsibilities, some sample resume helping I have here. Then you have some post assessment, right? I'll just open this quickly. So you have multiple choice questionnaires, which I'm sharing with you in advance. The answers are in green color, right? So you can see some 25 multiple choice and some case study also I'm giving it to you. And these are your common responsibilities that you can put in your project, right? Sample resumes are also there. Then whatever work I do, right, the project work, I'll keep it in this folder. So these are all the projects that we have done in the last batch. Okay, so these are all the previous projects. I will delete them and I will put the new projects here once we start our batch. Then you have whatever variables we create, I keep them in this folder so that you have access to them. Whatever test data we are creating, I'll keep it here for you to access it. Whatever test reports we generate, you see so many test reports we have generated for all the projects. I keep them here. Then the training material. So all the diagrams that I'm going to create during the course of training, I keep them in this folder so that you can access to it, right? So you don't have to write any running notes. You have to just listen and ask questions. So these diagrams, I'll keep it here as and when I do it. So I don't open this and explain. I do it freshly so you understand it. So this is a test plan document I have prepared. You will get access to it. Then these are the test cases we have prepared. Then the client and server architecture is explained neatly here. So I'll show you all this access. Then evolution of APIs, we'll talk about this. Then the actual notes. This is the training material, end-to-end notes. If I open this, So this is a test plan document that I have created, which I'll be sharing with you. It's a pretty big document. Then you have the test cases here under positive and negative testing. Scenarios are written and detailed test cases are also written. This is what we are going to test practically. So you have the manual test cases and automation test cases being done. And this is your detailed training document that I'm going to share with you. All the notes is there. And let me quickly scroll down. Yeah, so here you see the detailed steps are there along with screenshots. The steps are being written by me and the screenshots are also added here so that you can understand, okay, the notes and the screenshots will help you do more practicals easily. Otherwise, you can go through the recorded video also to understand it. So I have done that in my previous batches and I'll be sharing this with you guys, right? So in fact, you will get access to this entire folder structure. Okay. So that's all I have, guys, in this quick demonstration class. My intention in this demo is to help you understand what I teach, how I teach, what material do I share with you. And if you have any questions in general or related to the course curriculum I have given, I think you can ask me, guys, now.
I have a question. Like, um, let's say that you have started teaching us, and we are testing something post the class is over. Is there any support if we have any questions that need to be asked?
100% yes. Two ways, I will say, not two ways, three ways, four ways. One,
Okay.
I will share my email address. You can send an email to me if that works. Two, we will have a WhatsApp group. You can ask the question directly in the WhatsApp group and I'll answer it. Three, the next day when we start the class, the first 5 minutes is typically reserved to have your questions to me and answers should come from me. Or the last 5 minutes we can reserve it. And if your question is very detailed, then we will spend more than 5 minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes we'll spend in the next class. So questions, challenges that you are facing while practicing, you have to ask me and I have to answer that. So it happens with every batch and the same is with this batch as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So this training is not one way, guys. It's not a radio training. It's a tape recorder kind of training where you will also talk, I will also talk. So when you talk, it's mostly the questions, the challenges that you are facing and how can I answer it. It's not that, okay, you have to be on mute for the entire 60 minutes. No, you can unmute. You can ask questions, not only in demo, in all the 30 classes, anytime. Every student who has enrolled has the right to ask questions and I'm here to answer it. Okay. And that's how I see success in my courses, right? Because it becomes a win-win situation for the trainer and also for the trainees. Any other questions from others?
Yeah, I had a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
The question I had was, is the focus of this course on REST API and SOAP API, or is it just REST is what we'll be learning?
The focus will be on REST APIs and also SOAP APIs. Two projects are for REST APIs and one project is for SOAP APIs.
Okay. Can you use Postman for doing SOAP API testing as well?
Yes, 100% we can.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. The Postman is one of those best tools, according to me, which is compatible for testing lot of types of APIs. You can test REST APIs, you can test SOAP APIs, you can test GraphQL APIs, you can test WebSockets, you can test gRPC protocol related work, you can do performance test, you can do functional testing of APIs, manual testing of APIs, automation testing of APIs. So many things are there in Postman, and all those things we are covering in this course, right? That's why the course is like too practical for us for those many days. Like only the first 4 or 5 classes, I would say probably first 5 classes are theory, and that's essential also because your foundation will be very strong. 6th class onwards, it will be practicals, and you will enjoy the course a lot.
I just had a quick question. How much time would we be spending on Swagger?
Okay, so Swagger is my second project. So before Swagger, we will be taking curl project. On the curl project, we will spend maybe 8 classes. So after project 1 is completed, you will have a very good understanding about automation testing of APIs. Then when we move to project 2, which is Swagger, we don't have to spend 8 classes there or 8 hours there. We will spend like 1 or 2 hours, meaning 1 or 2 classes only, because all the learning that we had in previous project can be reused here. The only new thing you learn in project 2 is how to understand Swagger. How do you bring the APIs from Swagger to Postman? Once it is in Postman, the process of automating it is still the same, which I've already learned it in project 1.
Got it.
So
Thank you.
yeah. So with each project, the number of hours we spend will reduce, right? Because we are learning everything in detail in chapter 1. So chapter 2 will take less time. Project 1 takes 8 hours, let's say. Project 2 will take less than 8 hours, maybe let's say 2 hours. Then project 3 will take less than 2 hours, maybe let's say 1.5 hours or 1 hour, like that. It's not that we are not spending time. You will be bored if I spend 6 hours on each chapter, because you will say, Kiran, we have already learned it, so you are just telling the same thing, right? So we'll do little fast. That's where in chapter 2 and 3, I will get more active participation from the students only, saying, okay, Kiran, I think we should do this, we should do this, we should do like that, because you have already learned in project 1.
Right. Thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions, guys, or you're comfortable with whatever content I have given? So fine, I understand. If you get some questions later, please use the WhatsApp group on which you have joined to put your questions forward. Isha team will be happy to assist you. Or if the question is a little technical, I will be answering your questions. And tomorrow also we have the class. The timings are the same. The link also remains the same. And if you're happy with what we have discussed today, maybe with my language, with my curriculum, with the notes, with the way I'm going to derive, if you are convinced, request you guys to talk to Isha team, complete your enrollments. Okay. See you tomorrow. And if there are questions, I'll see you on WhatsApp as well. So thank you for joining, and you have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.